Okay, yeah.
It's better now.
Sounds good.
Good. Bad.
Test again.
Shirt off.
We're not taking our shirts off.
Pants off.
No. Oh, this is getting tense now.
Yeah.
Oh, love it. Oh. Cool. We recording?
We're recording.
Cool. We are. These chairs are so close. Are we? Oh wait, what are we doing here? We don't do. Oh,
Yeah, we're doing.
We're not doing that. Oh my god.
Yeah.
This is the heights of professionalism. Hey everyone, what is going on? My name's Archer Live and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I've got an interview for you with Andreas Häll-Penninger, the lead producer on Payday 3. You can join me as I sat down with him in the Stockholm offices for Starbreeze last week whilst I was trying out Payday 3 to chat to him all about making the game, the mechanics behind it, and some of the interesting design decisions that have been made in producing Payday 3 over the last few years. It was an absolute joy to sit down and chat with him. He's such a lovely guy. I hope you all enjoy it. If you do, please consider dropping a subscribe and a like on the video, and make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the videos coming out this week for the week of Payday, including a new Payday 2 heist, a full diary of my trip to Sweden, as well as this Friday's interview with Almir Listo. But enough from me, let's get right into the interview. I hope you enjoy it.
Are you saying welcome or am I saying welcome because you're in our office?
That's the intro, you asking that question, let's go. So
okay.
I feel very welcome now, that'll do, that's perfect.
Welcome.
So, for the sake of everyone, can you introduce who you are and what you do?
Yeah. Am I supposed to look in the camera or are you? So my name is Andreas Häll, or Häll in Swedish, Penninger, and I'm the lead producer on Payday 3.
Yeah, brilliant. I mean, because I've said the first time I saw you, I said to you was in one of the Prime Edition status updates when you got introduced to the console team.
Yeah.
So it's been quite an evolution since then, right?
I think I was in puberty back then. It's like 20 years.
You just like roll the video now, it's just like the complete stark difference.
Yeah.
First off, I've got to say, well done on Payday 3. Like, for the context of this interview, I have played the game a little bit, maybe playing it more after this. You guys have done a fantastic job.
Thank you very much.
It's honestly a fantastically put together game. I'm really, really enjoying it. And
That warms my heart.
there's so much I want to ask, but we're cut to time, so we're going to make sure we kind of get through a few of the core different questions and just bounce between a few things and hopefully answer some questions people want to know.
Cool, let's go.
Let's do it. So to start off, first thing I want to ask about is modernising the game. Payday 2 now is 10 years old, so in some places it feels like that, but, you know, much as insulting as it sounds maybe, but with Payday 3 there's a bit of an emphasis on modernising the game with the movement and just how the heists work. Can you talk me through some of the decisions you made in trying to make Payday 3 feel a bit more fresh for 2023?
Yeah, absolutely. So we looked at both Payday 1 and Payday 2 a lot, and even like modern shooters out there. And we've been really trying to find that sort of sweet spot. But one of the key and very early objectives and challenges for us, since we were moving from the diesel engine to Unreal, is that we have to redo the entire thing from scratch, right? Payday 1 and Payday 2, same engine, you had Payday 1 as a foundation, but we had to rebuild everything. And we very early on understood that it's going to be a huge challenge to make sure that, you know, we sort of maintain that integrity and we really capture the moment to moment that Payday has, because it has a very specific feel, right? So that was something that we worked on for a very long time. And I think the reason that's so important as well is if you look at, for example, when Counter-Strike 1.6 went to Source, like people just stopped playing because they're like, this doesn't feel like Counter-Strike. So doing that was super important. But at the same time, we wanted to evolve it and make sure that it's sort of up to standards and, you know, what people are used to today. And some things we've done is, if you compare to Payday 2, you're moving faster, right? And you're also more agile. You can vault and slide and so on. And even the gunplay feels a little bit more rapid. Interactions are quicker too. And a part of that decision is also tied to the general feel of the game, because something that we wanted to do, especially during LOUD, is just intensify everything. And that obviously goes for the visuals and how the enemies behave, but it's also a big part of the movement. So getting that sort of sense of urgency, like that was a key goal in terms of modernizing the feel. Yeah,
100%. And you talk about enemies, one of the biggest things that I've learned today from playing is the way that you've organized it. So a lot of all the special enemies are returning from Payday 2. A couple of new ones. We start with talking us through what those are.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, like you said, the old ones are returning. They also have a couple of new features.
They do.
Interesting. The Cloaker can pour acid on your equipment to destroy it, so he's even more annoying now than he is in Payday 2.
If that was possible.
We have two new enemies. You've seen one in the gameplay trailer, which is the choker. So one enemy that can throw gas grenades. Then there is another one. On certain difficulties, and depending on difficulty, there's a higher chance that it's going to spawn. So there's an FBI van that spawns on a random location on the map. You don't know where it is. You have to find behind it. But as long as it's active, the assault is endless. So it's a way for us to sort of encourage or force players to actually move out on the streets and such, and not just stay inside.
It's like a modernised Captain Winters, really.
Yeah, exactly.
And with there being an FBI van, does that mean the SWAT turret van is gone?
It's gone. Yeah, it's fucking...
Everyone can throw a party now, because I don't think anyone's going to miss that. Sorry, but, you know, no bullet sponge turrets anymore.
Happy we made the right choice.
Speaking of, enemies across difficulties all having the same health. What was the logic behind that there? Because that's a very big change from Payday 2.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't. I honestly don't. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
I just know there's a very conscious decision behind it. It was made pretty early on as a part of the balancing and the general feel. And there's a lot more other things that are affecting the difficulty. And especially in stealth, it's not just about the amount of cameras and guards and such. It's also like, for example, in the level that you played, Art Gallery today, you're entering these exhibition rooms to see art, right? And then you have the security systems. There could be laser grids. On higher difficulties, there can be layered security systems. So there might be laser grids and motion sensors or alarm floors and such. So there are more things like in the world itself that changes based on the difficulty too.
Yeah, the difficulties feel like it's more changing the environment rather than just how many bullets the enemy takes.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is brilliant, because I mean that was a big thing with some people, a lot of people like myself personally. I've played a bit of Dead Sentence 1 down. It was kind of like a phase where I was good at it and then it phased out again. But I think it was like some people don't mind the bullet sponginess, but I like the idea that the enemies will always have the same health. I noticed it because the first Heist we played, it wasn't my choice, it was on normal difficulty, and I was thinking, these cops are like quite hard to kill, and then they say no, they're the exact same. So that's a big change. I think is
there's also less enemies in Payday 3 than what you have in Payday 2. Like it's still a very intense shooter, right? But I think the big difference, especially, is that in Payday 2, for most of the time, enemies are very spread out. They feel like headless chickens, right? But so we moved into a more believable approach where they spawn as units. There is usually a shield in front, right? And they're moving behind the shield and so on. And you're gonna see them more in groups as opposed to just individuals running around.
Yeah, there's a lot more organization to the characters, which also comes in through the gameplay phases, which I know you mentioned the first dev diary, and I was hoping we'd get a bit of an expansion maybe on how the new phases for search and negotiation work. It's going to be through a bit more of the information with those.
Yeah, absolutely. So in Payday 2, you have essentially stealth and loud, right? And it's pretty binary. And I think like the key inspiration for adding 2 new phases, which I'm going to talk about, is, heat is a big inspiration. But if you talk about heat in and referencing Payday 2, it's mostly about the combat, the shootout and so on. So something that we really wanted to take into Payday is what happens before that. Because if you watch heist movies, the part where they go into the space and, guards get suspicious and then you have hostage management, the negotiation with the police, like that's such a big part of the heist fantasy, right? So we really wanted to bring that into the game. So you have something called search, which is if a guard sees something suspicious, like a broken camera or a broken window, they're going to start looking for you and they won't trigger the alarm immediately. Yeah. We also have different areas in the game. So you always start off in a public space, which is like you're just a civilian. And then you have private areas and secure areas. If a guard sees you in a private area, they're going to give you a warning and they're going to escort you out. So that also gives players like a window of opportunity to sort of de-escalate the situation before everything turns to shit. Yeah. And it just feels like we're making stuff a little bit more forgiving. And something we've seen so far is, when people fuck up, you understand that it's your fault, not necessarily the game's fault. Yeah. And then if things go further than search, you go into negotiations. So first responders arrive to the scene, you can trade civilians to buy more time before the assault kicks in. Yeah. And that's like it's such a fantasy fulfilling moment, right? And it's something that feels like a very natural fit to the franchise.
And it gives civilians much more like interaction, not just like for using them as meat shields, but also for the trading aspect. It feels like there's more you can do with them rather than just like, as people joke about, you just use them as kind of like launchers for like ragdolls and stuff. Exactly. It's just like, what can I do with them? And then just shoot them with a judge and watch them go, wee! Like, there's more to do than just kind of
like
be a psychopath.
Like pushing them down from roofs, right? You did that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. There was
I saw him. I saw you play, and it's like, can I push this guy down from the bank? He was just an employee, dude. He fucking died, and then the alarm was triggered. Like, what the fuck?
Spent like 10 minutes wandering the bank, just looking at what we could do with the stealth mechanics, and I got onto the roof and just saw a guy and went, I'm not going to not push him off and just not drop, and the entire bank just went nuts at it. So yeah, I wanted to try it. I was going to do it at some point.
It made me really happy. It was a memorable moment for me. Yeah, for sure. Especially since you laughed for like 2 minutes after. Says so much about you.
It's like I knew it was going to happen, but I was also just like, there's no way. Like, and just pushed him up. No, he was gone.
Yeah.
He was gone. It was brilliant. It was really good.
And on that topic, like civilians in general, they play a much bigger role in Payday 3, and which is also obviously tied to like really capturing that ultimate criminal fantasy, right? So not just trading during negotiation, also like we mentioned in Dev Dive, like having civilians around you, cops will be more mindful, like they won't throw grenades and such. You can also save them for in between assaults, to trade them for like get your buddies back from custody, or you get resources. So there is a lot of use for them, and sometimes they're also tied to objectives or bonus objectives. So grabbing like special NPCs as a human shield, you push them to like an eye scanner to get access to certain rooms. So it's not just being, you know, as a defense mechanism, it's also a way to progress into certain areas of the level, which I think is super interesting.
And that's the thing as well, right? Because in terms of heists, can you share how many there are at this point? Yeah?
8. So Payday 1 had 6, I believe. Payday 2, 12. We're doing 8 now, but something that we're doing a little bit different is like when we're designing the levels, we really try to find a unique theme and like a unique gameplay feature tied to it. So that's kind of we're going a little bit back to the roots, because I think Payday the Heist had those. I mentioned to you earlier that, you know, we made these movie posters.
The movie posters, yeah.
So we've been designing the levels in Payday 3 from that sort of perspective. So if you take the art gallery that you play today, the goal with that was to sort of create that Mission Impossible vibe, you know, laser grids, ventilation shafts, motion sensors, nighttime, and the bank that you played, which is really one of the like core vanilla levels. It still has that sort of heat feel to it. You have the thermite where you burn your way through the floor. So every level, you know, has something that stands out, and that's really something that we want to move forward with into post-launch as well. And a really small thing for me is, sometimes when I talk to fans and I ask them what their favorite heist is, usually they don't remember the name of the heist. They remember a moment.
They remember key things from it.
And I think that's super interesting. It's like, you know where the piggy bank falls through the roof? Yeah, big bank. Yeah. And you know, that's those sort of moments is something that we want to create.
Yeah, and that was the thing, because I'll say when I first heard there were 8 heists, I kind of was a little bit apprehensive, because I was hoping there'd be a few more, but what I've seen from playing it, and also from what you've said, not just in here but outside it, everyone does feel like a set piece, like a movie poster, and they do work. And of course, I've only seen 2 of them, but if they're all the same standard, that does offer a lot of promise, I think, personally. Do you think we'll actually see the movie posters for these? Like, you're actually going to cook up proper ones? That's just a side note.
I would love to do it.
Yeah.
Like, I would love to do it. It's a time thing, but I think it's super valuable, both for the community, but even for us as well. Like, it just feels great to have them, you know. When you look back at them, you're like, oh shit, I remember when we did that shit. It was horrible. You know?
Well, yeah. I think it'd be a brilliant thing. I do. And also, one other question with heists, and it ties something I'm going to ask you about in a minute, but how many of the heists can be done in both stealth or loud? Is there a bit of flexibility with all of them, or?
We are going to talk more about that pretty soon. Yeah. There is a dev diary tied to the heists.
Yes.
But generally speaking, we want to give as many possibilities as possible in terms of how you infiltrate and how you approach them and so on.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Yeah. Tying on from that, one thing that I felt personally, I know a lot of people have picked up on in the last few years of Payday 2's life cycle, I've kind of called it the revival era. It seems very much that there's been trying a lot of new things for the sake of seeing if they'd work for Payday 3. And having played it, I can see quite a few crossovers. Can you talk about maybe any key things you've learned from especially the last few years of Payday 2 that you then brought in for features in Payday 3?
Yeah, absolutely. So from a feature perspective, obviously, like, our designers have been looking at the game a lot, and you know what works, what doesn't, what does the community like, and whatnot. But I think for me, like, the most important thing is trying to bring over mechanics or add mechanics that enhances the general heist experience. Yeah, the heist fantasy. Yeah. So we're always trying to design features from that perspective. Like, if we add this thing, does it make me feel like a heister, you know? Yeah. And on top of that, it needs to work mechanically, you know, and be fun and so on. But starting with that, like, from the fantasy point of view, I think that's such a huge thing. And that's, like, for us, that's really what makes Payday and Payday unique, because you have a lot of shooters out there, and you have co-op shooters too. But I think we're sort of filling a void within the criminal genre, right? There's not a lot of games out there. You have GTA Online, which is a very different experience, and then you have Crime Boss, and I think they're doing some really interesting stuff too. But apart from that, like, it's us. So that's really what we're looking at. But you also touched upon like crossovers and you know, Payday being sort of like a test bed.
Yeah, it felt, especially with like, for example, the outfits, because they're a big part of Payday 3 now, and I felt like every time you tried a new thing, it was like, let's see if this sticks, then we can use it for Payday 3. It definitely feels there's been a bit of a crossover there.
No, but you're right, and I think like Payday 1 was, you know, the baby steps. Payday 2 was the teenage years, crazy stuff, puberty, you know, trying
Goats and nukes,
and Payday 3 is more mature. Like, we're refining what we're doing, and I think when it comes to like future collaborations and so on, what's important for us is if we do something, we have to maintain franchise integrity. It needs to work within our universe, you know. So I think we're done with doing things that are like very detached from the game itself. Some of them have been super fun, you know, and you know, I appreciate all of them. But for Payday 3, we wanna root ourselves in like the original tone a little bit more. Yeah,
and it kind of get lost in that world before you add anything else to it. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Just off the record, do you have any personal crossovers you would like to see happen with Payday 3? If you were to pick something?
Yeah. I got the same question yesterday, I think.
Oh, okay.
And we just kept going, and you know, it went into like a conceptual.
Okay, you know? All right. How about one? Pick
yeah. I would love to do something big with Batman.
Ooh.
And you know what we talked about yesterday? Imagine like you have a season or something in Gotham City. You're heisting at nighttime. The guards call the police. You see the bat sign up in the sky.
I imagine that like a new special enemy.
Yeah, or like he just replaces the clunker, you know. He's there.
Kill the bat.
Dallas is like, you know, Batman is here, and then you know you're all down. Yeah.
I wonder if that would fit the sound. To be fair, but that would be one hell of a thing.
Exactly.
That'd be one hell of a thing.
What would you like to say?
Oh, don't ask me that. I was really hoping you weren't going to say that. I was really hoping you weren't, because I'm not going to say like Marvel or Doctor Who or something, because they wouldn't fit. I don't know.
Don't say Robin.
No, well, I should have said that now. Blackadder, no. I mean, it's a cheap move, but John Wick were before. I would like to see him come back, but maybe get Keanu. Just you know. I mean, they said they're going to do a John Wick 5, maybe. So if they do, then
there's a lot of possibilities for sure. Yeah.
It's a shame you don't have like John Wick's glasses up here, so I could grab them and just like pop them on real quick. But
are those the ones?
They're close. They're the dentist's glasses. I've just realised that. I think they are. I really want to bring you to wear these now.
Oh, you want me to wear them? Oh, fuck, man.
You pointed it out. Go on. Right. I don't even think they've got like lenses. Perfect. Yeah. Do you want to answer a question with those on?
No.
Okay. No. Oh, there you go. Now that looks good.
There we go.
That looks professional. Love it. Last thing, just kind of to check up on, really, because I've noticed now, we were wondering from the trailer and having played it and seen more, all of the core heists in the game, they have new faces. Is there like an explanation as to why that was done, like what logic was done behind
Yeah, I mean, it's been a couple of years, right? Since the gang retired, and even moving from Payday 1 to Payday 2, a lot of the faces were new, and for us, it's sort of like a part of maturing the game and the franchise. Like, they're growing older, and now when they're coming back, they have, you know, more scars. They look a little bit more, you know, they've been through some rough stuff, you know. So it was a conscious decision to make sure that feels like it's in line with the general tone of the game.
So are they new, like active faces, or is this just something you've built in game, like as unique faces?
Yeah, we've built an in-game.
Okay, right.
Yeah, but they're still similar to the previous characters. Like when you get into the game and you look at them, you're still gonna recognize them. They just look like they've robbed a couple of banks.
Yeah. They robbed like a plastic surgeon along the way. Say that, there you go. That one. There's your explanation.
Exactly. There you go.
There's so much more I could ask you. There's your timer. Telling you everything. Keep that in the cut. Yeah, we literally run just to time.
It says pick up your kid, but
yeah. So you better go do that. But seriously,
or is it? Yeah.
I'm just gonna don't leave me hanging. I don't want to have a cringe compilation. Thank you so much, Andreas. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah,
and I'm super happy that you're enjoying Payday 3.
Yeah.
That means a lot to us. It really does.
Yeah.
Like, we've had, journalists playing, and people are really enjoying it. But when people from the community and fans fans are playing. Like, that's the most important thing. I mentioned to another group earlier that it's almost like we're a rock band who haven't been on stage for 10 years. And now
Yeah.
we're gonna step up again for the first time. And, you know, fans are like, are they gonna play R&B? Fuck no, it's still Payday, you know? And that's the most important thing for us right now. And then, you know, over time, the game is gonna grow, and, you know, we're gonna add new, more interesting things.
Yeah.
But capturing that Payday feel, that's what we really want to do.
I'm really excited to see more of it. Yeah, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Do you want to wear this on?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm not having the potential jokes coming out of that of me with the dentist glasses on. I don't even want me without glasses on the record, so. I just want to pause and just check how we're doing on time for your sake purely. It's 2:56. We've got 5-10 minutes. 10. All right, cool. We've got
stretch
most of it. Yeah.
Could I leave you? Because you're doing great, and I feel like I don't need to be here.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
You're gonna be in the office, right?
Yeah.
Just grab me at the
Yeah.
place.
Cool.
It looks great. So just keep on doing.
So should I take my shirt off, or?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You need to take your shirt
And
off.
you?
Oh right. Okay. So you know that.
I like your shirt. So.
Oh, you like that? Thank you.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Should I take your shirt off?
We're not swapping shirts. We're gonna get so many comments now just saying, "Can you swap shirts, please?" No, the drinking gag was enough. Okay. Well, I thought we were gonna do like a cheers thing, but we didn't even do that. There we go.
What are we?
go.
What are we cheering for?
To Payday 3. That's very simple.
oh,
But there you go. There you go.